All right, fight family. Thank you. What's going on? 7 in the house. 7 up in here. Billy up in here. What's going on, guys? Absolute madness. Absolute madness in MMA, sports, everything going on right now. So I talked about, of course, yesterday, NBA is on hiatus for a very long time. Bellator, we were supposed to be doing a Bellator stream today at 6 p.m. As of yesterday, of course, they had made it an event to where there was supposed to be no crowd, but they were going to air the fights. Then at 11 a.m. Pacific today, 2 p.m. Eastern. I mean, that was cutting it close. Especially if people have plans. If you have people over or something, man. Not good. But not good at all. They decided to cancel the whole thing, or postpone the whole thing, excuse me. Great card, by the way, as is UFC Brazil, coming on tomorrow. Today's guest that's supposed to be joining me today is Cummo. We're going to talk about, I wanted to have a guest on since we don't have the fights today. And me and Billy are going to be coming out with a lot of unique content, I believe, and until this thing gets going. UFC, MMA's in the driver's seat right now. Everybody else is, they're too wary to even have events right now. And I know Luke has some, he has some very strong beliefs on health, nutrition, what's going on right now, what we need to be doing. And I think we're going to have a great conversation with him. Hopefully you guys have some questions for him. So let you know a little bit about what Luke's doing now. Of course, Cummo was on season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. He was a runner-up on The Ultimate Fighter, UFC veteran, known as the Silent Assassin, known for that vicious elbow, just slicing people open with that elbow. And then the other part of that is, very, very cerebral guy. I don't think he would back off from the term eccentric. I think that'd be fair to say. Very intelligent guy. Studies a lot of stuff. Very much into nutrition. I know he doesn't consider himself a vegan because he eats honey. Which, believe it or not, technically, if you eat honey, you're not a vegan. It is classified as meat. So, kind of strange to me. But I'm not an expert on these things. He is on a lot of things on nutrition. And he's also going to talk about traumatic brain injury, what we can do for the sport going forward, as he has founded Master Lukey's, what he calls it, Master Lukey's League of Champions, which its goal is to keep the entertainment and bring the high-flying entertainment of mixed martial arts to the masses without as much traumatic brain injury. What I want to concentrate with him and talking about is the future, and that's kids. I hate to see full contact with children. I don't like to see tackle football in elementary and middle school. I think it's unnecessary. Things like that. So we'll concentrate on some things on that. I know he's got definitely some strong opinions on health, on nutrition. And he is actually finishing up a class. He's over on the West Coast. He's teaching all ages. He's got a nutrition line. But his biggest business right now is his dojo. And I've been waiting for some back on Skype from him. I think he's still in his class. Most likely. Okay, and he is, and it looks like he might be ready. I'm going to go ahead and give him a call, guys. I'm going to get on Skype, and we are going to try to bring in Master Lukey. Luke Cummo, good friend of mine. I'm sure a lot of you guys seen him on the show before. But like he said, he's open to questions. He wanted to bring that up. So, put your questions out there for him. He's open for it. We're gonna attempt a video call here. Luke Cummo. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Okay.
All right. Are we just going to do audio, or did you want to try to do the video?
I just pressed the answer button. What do I do?
Oh,
Wait, hold on. There we go. I think I pressed something. Oh.
All right, sweet. Okay, let me fix mine over here so we're both on there. And then figure out why my camera is not on. Oh, I know why my camera is not on, because it's being taken up by my OBS. So, but we'll fit us both in the screen, and we'll get this. I'll get this all situated here. We'll put you over in the corner. How was class? Did you just get finished?
Got that OBS.
Yeah, I got the OBS here. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
You're live? Is that what that does?
I am live right now.
I'm trying to get that for my tournament.
All right. Hey, I will help you out on that, sir.
I need a techie.
Yeah, I don't know if I consider myself a techie, but I've been doing this long enough to learn some things on accident. How about that?
Sounds like my way.
Yeah, you do it long enough, I guess you figure out a few things. Now, as I say that, we'll see.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I'm just
let me know what.
Take a little picture out of the corner here, and
Big Luke. Take your rides here. Cha-ching. White car.
Yep.
You all done?
And we'll have you live here. Give me just a second, and we should be completely good here. Sorry, guys. Anybody watching here?
Is this Facebook?
We'll have it. No, it's Skype Live here. Here we go. Boom. All right. We got you live here. So what's been going on? You got the Master Lukey's League of Championship going on. A lot been going on since I talked to you last. A lot going on in the world.
Oh, man. The League of Champions. I don't know. It's a big idea, Mike.
It's a very big idea. I wish I was over there closer with you to look into it a little bit more, figure a little bit more out. But
well, I went to a school on Tuesday, another school that teaches MMA, and I brought the idea up to the owner.
Sure.
And he said, you have to be more precise with your scoring system. So let me show you what I got so far.
Okay. Actually, just a second here. I'm oh, there we go.
There he is.
Okay. Now we should. Well, now I'm all over the place here. Skype. There we go. Okay.
Score.
Now we should have you in there. Sorry about that. Everybody. All right. Everybody should be able to see in there. All right, there is the scoreboard.
Scorecard. Now, okay, talk about big idea. Master Lukey's Arena. Everybody gets a chair in arena-style seating, and each hand corresponds to a fighter. And while the fight is going on, you're using a touchscreen to score in real time. We have that represented here on a whiteboard where I personally take two markers, and I just watch the match and I just make little lines or shapes or whatever. If something big's going on, I'll put a lot of marker there. And then at the end of the match, I go, that looks like an 87 compared to like what it could be as 100 or 0. You get a score from 0 to 100 at the end of every match, and there's no knockouts, there's no head contact. That's the major rule that, I don't know, it just seems like, what's the reason why you would know that and then still do it? If you know about head contact and what it does, I don't understand how people could get behind that. But I don't know. Maybe they're just stubborn, greedy. But I went to this other school because, to me, it is a fight.
Yeah.
What I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And I need to promote like Conor McGregor. So I've called out people, and I'm facing somebody on April 25th in my own tournament in the black belt division. Even though I'm not a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I consider myself a black belt in MMA. And I came up with my own ranking system, by the way. So if you train under me, you can have an MMA belt, and somebody says, what is that? You know, like, is that a style? You can talk to them about what MMA is. This is my personal belt. I don't know if you had specific questions, but I'm just kind of shooting off at the hip here. I'm in my gym right here in Limbrook. That's where the League of Champions is right now, and the event is open to the public. I don't know if I could get more than 100 people here, though, so we'll see if this is the last time that I do it here. I'm trying to get big, but, you know, we got this thing going on. This is equivalent to a... Can you turn your phone off? Because it's echoing. This is equivalent to a four-armed werewolf in Master Lukey's League of Champions. That's the rank. So
I like it. Going with the animals.
We have a scoring system for mythical beasts, and this is the second training book that I wrote for the second rank. Okay, and this is I'm just trying to get you in frame here. The land shark. Okay.
All right, I see that there.
Land shark, and then that's equivalent to a white belt with a colored stripe. And then the next rank after that is a colored belt with a white stripe. And you could choose your own color. It's more of a gradient scale. So like the belt becomes more colorful as the rank progresses. And then the solid belt is equivalent to like a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then you get a black stripe on your colored belt. I went with blue, but you can change it anytime you want. For my next rank, which is basically a second-degree black belt in MMA, I have to spar, of course, under my regulations, with 5 people in a row, 5 minutes each, because that's how long the matches are. So it's 5 different people in a row, 5 minutes each, and with no rest period.
No rest period. So five in a row.
Black belt test. It's like a UFC championship match, except no rest.
Yeah, I know a lot of UFC champions, they'll do that. They'll have guys switch in and out like every round like that. It really wears people down. That's quite the show of cardio.
So I'm waiting to get to a big venue for that. For this event, I'm just trying to raise money to pay the fighters, of course, and to show that it's a legitimate financial endeavor for potential investors. I'm going to live stream it the best I can, and so far we're looking at a middleweight tournament and a welterweight tournament, which is round robin style. So I have one of my officials here today. He's scored almost every event that I've had, which is over 10 at this point. I've had over 10 championships. The last few were the first ones where the fighters actually started getting paid. And in my last event, I started the Pro League for me so that I can challenge people who are ex-UFC fighters or current, school owners and black belts and whoever else. And that they could hopefully eventually be making and everybody who has money involved in MMA to make a lateral transition to my new regulatory system, which has the greatest chance of being a long-term successful business. Because if you just think about two people fighting and you think about building a fighter and building a star, you don't want them to be injured. And that's the worst thing that could happen for a fighter, is for them not to be able to make it to a fight or to not be able to fight often. You look at the model from WWE, they're fighting every week. And Dana White would love to be 4 times a week? Oh, with the in-house shows? Okay, my sensei says that they fight 4 times a week. But that's not real fighting. I wouldn't spar 4 times.
And your guys wouldn't have to be on painkillers either, like all those guys are, so...
I would spar. I could spar probably once a week, and then sometimes I get banged up for a few days. Even with the new safety regulations, it still can be hard sparring. Yeah. And it's just as action-packed. Everybody who I've asked that comes to my events say that it is a really cool, sporting event.
Yeah.
And it's more of a sport.
So I gotta just take one quick break. I want to give recognition to somebody with a super chat. Ted Turner donated $4.99 to the show. So thank you, Ted. A little applause for Ted. Trying to make sure and give these guys recognition that donate to the show and help us going. I love a lot about what you do. I am very much from the school of thought that I consider myself a traditional martial arts fan, and I enjoy the theatrics. And I don't understand why some people think that those things can't go together. I love your suits. I love you talking about challenging, other senseis from other dojos and stuff. I really love, when you're getting into the different colored moves. I know, like the kind of anime thing and different things. And I really like what you're doing as far as for kids. Because I don't like to see kids playing, kids in elementary or middle school, much less doing martial arts. I don't think they should be doing tackle football, any of that stuff. Like you said, maybe adults know what they're doing. No reason to be having children getting hit in the head. It's absolutely repulsive to me. And I'm sure you agree with me on that.
Well, in the spirit of your program, Mike, I'm going to fight with you on this one. Because Gary Goodrich has a mom. He's never going to be the same again.
Yeah. I know Gary. He's a great guy, but yeah, he's struggling.
I mean, I personally could recommend a protocol to give him the best chance of rehabbing. I know it's been a while, but I personally have seen the difference as far as nutrition goes. And I know that if you go to a regular hospital now, I'm sorry for you if you have ever been injured or come under some type of illness. But I don't agree with how people are processed in the system. I do natural healing, and I can get people off painkillers with kratom.
I have recently I've recently been experiencing with kratom.
Yeah, oh, you had a different experience with kratom?
No, I said I've recently been having experiences with kratom. No, I haven't had any negative experiences.
Well, I
But
mean, I'm not making this stuff up. It comes from somewhere. This isn't Master Lukey just making stuff up. People report that kratom is a natural alternative to painkillers. The only recommendation is that you don't get addicted to kratom for no reason, like you just want to have a good time. I'm talking about people healing, and I use medical marijuana myself to fight depression, mainly, that I wake up with every day, because I believe not just the occurrences that happen to me in my life, but the scars that I most likely have in brain tissue are preventing a proper flow of electricity. Let's just call it that. Like when I use the medical marijuana, it brings my thoughts to something that can happen in the future, and I feel hopeful that I can be a success. But if I don't have medical marijuana in the morning when I wake up, it's like I'm already a failure and I'm just going down. Not to bring anybody down. I'm saying I'll be okay. I believe that I'm going to be successful with the League of Champions. Everybody who's involved with me agrees with me, and they're rooting for me. And I think that's great, because I do also believe that, you know, I have something to offer. It's not about Master Lukey. It's a league. And I'm not in it for the money. I'm not a greedy promoter. If I was, I would be screwing people over for money. I'm not making money. I'm building something from the ground up that is going to give back. If I can get it started here, and as a local, boost to the economy, then why not? People are looking for ways to make money.
oh,
So everything that
absolutely.
I'm doing is focused on April 25th, because, like you asked me, I don't sell health food. Who's buying health food? People are stocking up on all the preservative stuff so that they can last through whatever they think is going to happen. Nobody's asking me to make them health food so that they can, lose weight, combat arthritis, heal autism, and all other type of conditions.
Well, I think this is just a little blip right now. If I stop you for just a second, though, can you possibly move over just a little bit to your left, maybe? You're really in your light. I don't want you to get blocked out there. There we go. Maybe that's the light above you is really, really shining you out. There you go. Okay, maybe just a little bit more that direction you're moving. You'll be in there centered. Perfect, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. No, I agree with you. It's very strange what's going on in the world right now, man. I don't have answers for what's going on right now with if people are over panicking, under panicking, what the hell it is. I know a lot of the answers are in nutrition, though. I agree with you there. I know from talking to you.
Here's where the natural healing protocol differs, because I brought it up and I might as well just get into it. You're not going to hear this from anybody else. Guaranteed. Nobody's going to tell you that there's no such thing as a virus. Oh, the boogeyman's going to get you. They don't even have a test for a virus. They don't have a test for a virus. All they're testing you for is your antibody response. And then if there's proteins coming off of that because they don't know what it is, they say, oh, that's probably the virus. And that's why they think it mutates, because it's not the same in every person. It's just the body breaking down. No two people are the same. They're coming up with all these different virus names, and then new ones coming out every year. People don't get sick, and sick people, if they don't change their ways, they're not going to make it. And I think that it is a big conspiracy, but I'm not worried about it, because the only thing I can really control is my own self. And I'm on a mission, and I believe that, people make fun of me for my lifestyle, but I'm not doing it just for giggles. I do this for performance. I do what I do because at the end of the day, I have to fight, and I'm the one who's fighting. And I had the chance to go the other route with drugs. I remember one time when I was training at Ray Longo's gym, This was before Chris Weidman took part over. We were in another location. This was even before the Ultimate Fighter. And I had a thing, and but one of the side effects of what they wanted to give me was increased risk of injury. I think it was an anti-inflammatory. They were trying to give me anti-inflammatory. The other guy said, "Oh, I don't take pills, but let me see side effects: increased risk of injury." Okay, let me take that. I mean, come on. I'm not just making this stuff up. So ultimately, what's gonna prove if I'm right or I'm wrong is my performance. So if I'm a miserable failure, then I'm gonna go down swinging. So just remember me for that. I probably shouldn't even say that. I'm gonna be successful, and hopefully.
Of course you are. Hey, we don't bring people on here. We don't bring people on here to beat them up, Luke. We bring people on here to build them up, man. You're one of the legends.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's sparring though.
Yeah.
It's sparring, so we can jibe each other, and when I was still at Longo's, I haven't been there in 10 years, and I've been at this place for about 5. But I want to get that you don't want the light in there. I want to get everybody involved as I can. So I have no hard feelings for anybody that I've fought in the past, and I really enjoy the sparring because it allows me to aim for something without worrying about that I'm going to be injured. Because I tell you, the last time I went into the cage, it was not a fun experience, even before I got my ass kicked.
And this was full contact MMA. This is not
my last fight in the UFC. I was about to go out, right? And did you know they made a UFC coffee table book where it shows you the before and after pictures of the fighters when they're going out?
I did not.
All right, so they take a picture of you before the event and then after the event to see how your face changed, right? It's a coffee table book. It's got 100, whatever, I don't know, 1,000 pictures of everybody's face after their wars. Ooh. I bet they're not going to do that for Joanna, though.
Oh, man, those pictures are horrible. That's some of the worst I've ever seen. That's horrible. That's sad, man.
That's not a good look for MMA. I know it's it's a terrible thing, but I wanted to take a picture of it, screenshot it, and then put Master Lukey no head contact.
Hey, I mean...
come on.
I can see it.
They're not finishing each other anyway, so you might as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from there, for sure.
Come on, she's never going to be the same.
Yeah, that's bad, man. I mean, that was bad. I mean, and I don't want to come off as a hypocrite. I watch UFC and I commentate on it every day. And that's why I was honest and I said one of the things that I really like about what you're doing the most, starting out with, is to get the kids out of it. Let's get the kids out of the full contact right out of the gate. And now we're learning more about traumatic brain injury. Now you have people coming in kind of knowing more what they're getting into than I did when I was training and fighting, not on the same level. And then hopefully, those kids can grow up and then we can have a sport, but not a death sport.
Got you. All right, well, I get passionate about these things. I don't mean to come off as a hard ass, but, at the end of the day, I'll fight anyone. Anybody who doesn't agree with me, I sparred with Tim Sylvia, Randy Couture, Jeremy Horn. Matt Hughes never sparred with me, though. He did ground and pound me, but we never did the full MMA rules sparring. Who else? I grappled with Mark Lehman. That's Joe Stevenson's coach. And... all the other guys that I came up with. But I sparred with Tim Sylvia. Now, that guy tried to knock me out.
That's a huge guy, man. Why are you sparring with Tim Sylvia? He's way bigger than you, man.
I tell you, I did a sidekick on him. And he was like, "Oh, what are you, Bruce Lee?" And then he tried to knock me out.
Oh, you're a madman, man. That guy's huge. I wouldn't go near him.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be 40 April 27th. So, I'm inviting my friends and family, and I'm giving them enough notice, and hopefully I can get 100 people to my event on the 25th. That's a birthday party /tournament. And, I'm probably going to start an over 40 league. So I don't have to go up against guys that, that have significant physical advantage like that. I mean, it's probably going to have to be open weight regardless, but that's kind of fun. I mean, you just got to be careful with the big guys because there's so much force being thrown around. You don't want to accidentally injure your sparring partner. And that's the whole spirit of the league, is that you can both score points, but you can't score points by yourself. So you don't want to injure your sparring partner. The two rules is no head contact and no finishes. And the finishes is referring to any type of body punch, any type of, because there's no head contact, you can't strike inside the collar line nor the spine. Okay, but everything else is legal: punches, kicks, knees, and elbows, but no finishes. So don't break your partner's rib, don't break their bones when you're doing grappling. I have a scoring system called Power Hold, which is technically for the whole MMA sparring, but it can be explained simply in grappling context, where you get somebody in a move where you normally would have called it a submission. You're going to either break my arm, put me to sleep, or I'm going to tap out.
Sure.
Now, that's a submission. That means it's over. I gave up. Now, in Power Hold, you can get into a position like that. Now, if you keep in mind the scorekeeper, right? Now, eventually I want to get it to connect to a motion capture camera that is going to digitize our movement and give us a real-time score. And then you can see it going up. If you get somebody in a move that's really good, it's going to go up. You get max points. And if you get somebody in a power hold, it's going to stay up for as long as you hold that position. So you can do a tap out. I think that's an important lesson, that you could do a tap out in class and you do a restart because it's sparring. So you tap out, you restart, or if you're the holder, you have the power hold. The longer you hold that, the more points you get. So what it does is it teaches you how to control positions. Instead of cranking, people just go for a move and they end up injuring somebody. You're going to get the position, you're going to hold it. The longer you hold it, the more points you get. At 30 seconds, now this is going into the details of the power hold. At 30 seconds, you're going to get a warning because we need to keep the action moving. You can't just be mounted on somebody for 5 minutes.
Perfect.
The crowd's going to get restless. So mount is a power hold, by the way. At 30 seconds, you get a warning. Because at 45 seconds, you get the max hold bonus. And that's 10 times whatever points you got accumulated from the move. So we say you held it for 45 seconds, you could have made the person tap out, but we need to keep the action moving, restart. But in that period of time when you get the power hold, anytime you go to a new move, clock is going to start over again. So you hear the warning for 30 seconds, you go to a new move. You have an arm bar, maybe you take the back or something like that. So the score keeps going and the points get multiplied and multiplied. And my vision is really, really high scores, like millions and millions and hundreds of millions of scores, and then just like digital coins raining down for the fighters on a big scoreboard. How's that sound?
I actually really like your idea. If you'd have told me this 10 years ago, I'm not sure how big I would be on it. But what I watch, my son's into video games. Huge into video games. Kids that age, they're into video games, and esports is bigger than anything right now. If you can combine and get those younger people that are into esports and show them something that's exciting, they can get in shape, they can practice martial arts, and you can not hurt yourself. Dude, if you're a couple blocks away from me, I'm coming over there after work right now. I love training all the time. I can't afford to get injured, though. I can't afford to miss work. I'm 41 years old, so I'm almost 2 years older than you. I don't need to be blowing my knee out, breaking my arm or anything, but I love training more than just about anything. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of great ideas there.
Well, my plan is a tour, so I might end up being close to you on tour.
All right. I got a couple of questions here. I don't know if you how much interaction you have with these two people, but someone just asked, Billy Hughes asked your thoughts on Melvin Gerard and if you had any interaction with him with BJ Penn.
Melvin Gillard?
Gillard, yeah.
Okay, the
I know you
young
know Melvin.
assassin.
Yes.
So I met him. I believe I met him on the tryouts for the Ultimate Fighter. We had to go into a hotel. We had to get our medical tests, and then we had to go into a room and meet in a round table with Craig Peligian, who is the executive of the network, and Dana White was there, and they interviewed us. And Craig Peligian said, I know you have a New York asshole inside you, because they were casting. It wasn't necessarily about my fighting skills, although I was a decent fighter. Uh, the the show, to go mainstream, was looking for people, that would. It's not scripted, but they have an idea of what, when you see these interviews before fights, the fighters are led to get a soundbite, and that's what they're building the event on. So anyway, that was that, and I met Melvin Gillard on the bus that day, and then we both made it on the show, and we tried out together on the show. Okay, so that was like round robin sparring, and we did some kickboxing together, and I remember that he got me with a nice right hand, and he said he hated sparring with guys like me because I just kept trying to kick him away from me with front kicks, and he said he hated fighting guys like me because I just kept kicking him. But he did get me with one counter right hand that was really good. Physically, a beast. I think he would be a great addition to the league. I wouldn't mind sparring with him. I'm not saying that I'm looking forward to it, but uh, he definitely put on an exciting match with me, I think. And then we didn't really talk because we were on different teams, so we didn't really bond over the training. We didn't fight each other, so I never really got to know him. But I think I was there when he had his episodes where he was teasing with Rashad. But then on that season, if he lost the first fight. He was out of the house. They didn't keep you in the house back then.
Who did he lose to? I'm trying to remember. It's been so long.
Josh Berkman by decision.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh Berkman took him down, and he basically won on takedowns.
Okay, yeah, he's a guy that kind of ended up in Pride, ended up with a few, or not Pride, excuse me, Risen, which is the new Japanese league, ended up with a few more fights in the UFC.
Cool. I always wanted to fight in Pride. I had a guy who manages one or two fighters from like Shudo or something. He came over to scout me out, and I had a really cool idea for like a Genki Sudo style entrance. You remember Genki Sudo?
I don't, not right offhand, doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, well, he was in Pride, and then he got into the UFC, and then he ended up becoming a Japanese politician. But he had really cool entrances that, one of them was he came out with like 10 guys, and then you didn't know which one was really him, and they took the mask off.
That sounds familiar. I might have forgotten the name. But yeah, that definitely sounds familiar. I was a big fan of Pride. Yeah, no, sounds like you answered that question. I think some people
Melvin Gillard, I'll fight him.
I'm getting some questions in here. Some people kind of not understanding the tournament. I think they want to know a little bit more what we're talking about. We've talked about it before, kind of how it works. But we're talking about having some sensors and some cameras and different things, right?
Yeah, camera.
Yeah, so something like EA does, maybe even for like video games and stuff in the future.
Motion capture cameras, you don't even need a suit anymore. I know they do it for movies because they're CGIing skin on top of the sensor, so it's just the body movement. But you don't need to wear a suit with sensors or anything like in Taekwondo that's going to register the pads. All you need is All you need is a special type of camera. But what I'm talking about might not need that, because if you have an arena and everybody in the arena is the scorekeeper, you can have a really cool scoring system. And then people at home, they got their phones and they're using their thumbs to also score the match.
Oh, so you're talking about? Okay, I didn't even understand that. So you're talking about people voting in. This is almost like an American Idol scoring.
Well, it's in real time.
Okay.
So as soon as the match is over, like on April 25th, I'm only having one match so far. But I have a round robin tournament, so every guy's gonna have at least 3 matches, depending on how many guys. Right now, I'm looking at 2 4-man tournaments. So every guy has 3 matches. You got your fighter, and then you got the 3 opponents. So he's gonna have 3 matches, and then this guy's gonna have 3 matches, and this guy's gonna have. It actually comes out to 10 matches. No, 6 matches. Sorry, 6 matches. So everybody's got 3 matches of their own score, and then the tournament score is each person's score put together, and that gives me a fraction where I divide the personal score by the tournament score, and then that fraction gets multiplied by the prize pot, which I'm hoping to sell 100 tickets at $20 each. That can be either $500 or $1,000 prize pot. My last event was $1,000 prize pot that I raised mostly from sponsors. This time I'm actually trying to sell 100 tickets by making it a birthday party / tournament, and then, parlaying that success into a bigger venue, which is requiring a 100 person gate, because they're not charging me to rent up front. They're going to take a percentage of the gate. So they just want to know that it's going to be worth it for them to open up the doors. And that's a little further out on Long Island. So I have about 5.5 weeks to cross promote, going to different gyms. I went to one on Tuesday, and I still have to train almost pretty much every day here. So I just try to get out to other gyms as much as I can. But then if I can get 100 people to this event, I'm going to go to all the other gyms on Long Island, because the next venue is in a central location. And I think they can seat how many? 500? 500. 500 at the next venue. So this really is the beginning. If I can't sell 100 tickets, then there's, I don't know, something wrong. But I don't think there's anything wrong. I think I just got to do the work, because it's so new. Nobody else has this idea, and I feel very fortunate that I get to be the one to deliver it, as long as I stay safe. I've done the best I can. Now, of course, martial arts is a contact sport, and people get injured in wrestling, which has no punching, kicking, knees, and elbows. So, I just have to keep the faith that I'm not going to fall on my head and break my neck, and hopefully that doesn't happen to somebody else in my league, because I get nervous when I watch the sparring, because I'm like, oh, please don't get hurt. That's the whole point. But, these guys are going after it. It's not play sparring. It's better than watching those training videos at Tiger Muay Thai, or Team Alpha Male, or Team North Star from Montreal, and that's not their name. All Star.
TriStar.
TSP trains. TriStar.
Yeah.
It's better than Henzo sparring. It's more exciting than grappling and the slap face jiu-jitsu that Eddie Bravo does. And I'll fight anybody in any of those leagues. In my league, though. I'm not doing any grappling against Gordon Ryan, because he's going to rip my knee out. But he could get me in a heel hook. You know who Gordon Ryan is, right?
Oh, absolutely. Great.
Okay?
He's a master.
He can get me in a heel hook in the League of Champions, and I can tap out early because I don't want him to risk it. But then he can hold it for up to 45 seconds, and he's getting, I don't know about max points, because I personally don't think the heel hook is deadly. But I'm sure you can mangle somebody pretty bad. They don't want to fight anymore. But I give higher scores to moves like the rear naked choke, the arm triangle, because that can kill you, the guillotine. Those are 100-point moves in my book. And then at the end of every match, everybody gets a score from 0 to 100. So me against Gordon Ryan, I don't know if I can keep him away from me. Maybe I'll lose 60 to 100 or something like that. But
that guy's a stud.
I would consider
Yeah.
it a learning experience, and then in a cash prize tournament, I would still get paid out.
Yeah, that guy is a stud. Got another question coming in from Billy. He wanted to ask you, said one of his favorite MMA moments is when you lifted up Matt Serra after beating George St. Pierre. I know that wasn't, it wasn't your fight, but it was a good friend of yours that you were training with.
Okay. No, you got that wrong. I did not lift up Matt Serra. What I did...
Oh, Billy's wrong. Billy's never wrong. This is very important here that we point out that Billy's wrong.
Go check the videotape. Here's what I did. First of all, just as iron sharpens iron, Matt Serra developed his MMA game on me. I was his number one sparring partner. Period. From the days before he was in the UFC to his championship fights, I put more rounds in the cage with Matt than anyone. Now, of course, he sparred with a lot of different people, and people were brought in. But from day one that he was in the UFC, actually, no, I think I came in after the first fight. I think I came in for Yves Edwards. I don't know if that was his second fight or what. But I remember specifically training him to try to beat Yves Edwards, because Yves Edwards is a Muay Thai fighter, and I was pretty good at Muay Thai. So I tried to spar like that. Okay, so that's number one. He hit me with that right hand. He hit GSP with a right hand, right? He definitely concussed me at least twice with that right hand. The first time he hit me with it, I got nauseous, but then I kicked him in the face. And he was training for the UFC, so everybody was worried that, he wouldn't be able to, he was like, everybody's behind Matt. Everybody's behind the fighter in a gym, so it's like, oh, shit, he just got kicked in the mouth. No headgear. And Ray goes, are you okay? And Matt goes, I'll never forget this. Matt goes, I love it!
I could see that. He seems like a real fun guy to be around.
And then another time, he gave me a concussion, but was on a takedown because I had a knee injury, and he went for a inside leg trip, and I felt like my knee was going to get pulled, so I kind of tried to go with it, and I ended up hitting my head on the floor. Ooh. And I kept asking Ray and Matt, when are we going to spar? And they're like, no, you sparred already, because I didn't remember what happened after I hit my head on the floor.
Oh, that's scary.
But I never got knocked out in a fight, thankfully. But my last few fights, I did get grounded and pounded quite a bit. But that's because I was a good kickboxer and nobody wanted to stand up with me. So I guess it's a bit of karma, and I'm sitting pretty even right now. I think I'm either 6-6, or if you count my 2 fights on the Ultimate Fighter, I might be 8-6. But the original question was about me holding up Matt. So the first thing was, I helped him develop his game. And then the other thing was, when I walked out, now I fought on that card, UFC 69 against Josh Haynes. And he was intimidating to me because he had blue hair. He trained with Randy Couture at a Team Quest. And I read an interview with him because I was anxious about it. I'm like, oh, I got to study him. And then his interview said he trains 8 hours a day. I was like, holy cow. On the Ultimate Fighter, we trained 3 or 4 hours a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. One 2-hour session in the morning, 1 2-hour session at night. And then I was like, holy cow, this guy's training twice as much as me. I got really scared. But anyway, I ended up catching him. And I went, and now Matt is the last fight of the night. And I was the only knockout that night. And they were giving $50,000 to the knockout of the night, the submission of the night, and the fight of the night. And I said to Matt, you know what? I got the only knockout, but I'm giving you my blessing. Go knock him out. And he got the $50,000 because of me. I told him, you have my blessing.
You should have said you wanted half of that money, though.
Well, I never paid any of my coaches. I had a deal worked out with Ray where he didn't pay me, I didn't pay him. We just had to make our own money, and I tried to be grateful, and I still am going to continue to give back to the martial arts community, in general, and I hope to touch base with everybody that I've met in the past that's still involved. No hard feelings. I think we could spar and still, don't have to worry about hurting each other. I'll fight anyone. So hopefully we get to see it happen.
Yeah.
How about me versus Ronda Rousey? She can come out of retirement. Huh?
Hey, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. Now we're starting to get sounding like Triple C here.
That's esports. I'll fight Triple C. Come on. He's not even in my weight class. Actually, I'm probably as strong as him, even though he's smaller. He's probably as strong as me. So,
yeah,
I'm not saying that I'm gonna beat him up. I'm saying I'll fight him. I don't care.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I had a little bit of
Amanda Nunes, Cyborg, Tim Sylvia. I want a rematch. Anything else? I saw the video go out.
There we go. Yeah, the video went out. I was trying to work with this here. Yeah, I'm not the expert right now on Skype. I think I'm gonna pull the video over here from the corner because this is not gonna look good for people out there. I know we had another question from somebody though, from Billy. I'll fill out real quick. I got a stand up picture of you here over in the corner, so we'll put that in for now. Nuka Cola wanted to thank you. Says thank you, Luke, for taking the time tonight and sharing his experiences with you. Great warrior mentality.
Right.
And then Billy Hughes asks you, okay. He says, who do you think is the greatest of all time? Great question.
Diego Sanchez. No, I was thinking of him before. I was just thinking of him when you said warrior mentality. He's one of my favorites for sure. Genki Sudo's one favorite. I used to like Anderson Silva, then he popped, and then he just, like, my hero crumbled before me. I like Randy Couture's style. I sparred with Randy Couture. He beat my ass. Jeremy Horn was one of my great teachers. He has the most fights of anybody ever in history. How about that?
Oh, yeah, he's what, 400 fights or so?
I thought it was 200, but
something like that. I don't know. It's a lot. I know. I'm friends with him. I've talked with him some online. He got in with me. He didn't agree with my opinions on scoring very much. He kind of set me straight. I definitely wasn't going to argue with him on that. But
all right.
But that was good there. What's that?
I said I'll spar with him too. I know he's got a nice gym out there.
So
I used to go out to Salt Lake City for the high altitude, and then when I did that for two of my fights, the one guy that I spoke to after the fight, he said, "You didn't get tired." I said, "Yeah, went to the high altitude 2 weeks."
Yeah, it makes a big difference. I know. I get up above high altitude, and I'm not in the greatest shape right now. I know. Yeah, you're wheezing. I'm definitely doing better. I've listened to some of the things you've said with nutrition, though. Pumpkin seeds, that's been great for me for the protein. Cutting out the gluten, some of the things you talked to me about with gluten. I don't know if you remember just talking on Facebook. That was really messing me up.
I'm giving out free health advice, and the next thing to go is rice.
Oh, now we're attacking rice. That's gonna cut some people out here.
Rice is what gives you coronavirus. Don't fuck with it.
Yeah, you're gonna get me demonetized here. No, I'm just kidding.
The rice industry is coming. Now, I think that same things happen with banana. They can't stop it from dying. So I'm not too worried about the people that are going to be able to change. We're the ones that are going to survive. And it's not that hard because you have science to back it up. And the hard part is the discipline, and that gives me an advantage that I was able to uh, give up, indulgences when I was training for fights because I had to make weight. But then, as far as me healing goes, I did have to use medical marijuana to curb cravings. So I've learned since to be really accepting of people because um, this stuff is very powerful, and I feel bad for people who are in the system, but I can't really do anything about that except try my best to be something that will be a healthy alternative in the future. So I'm just not going to stop, and that's why I do everything that I do. It's a performance thing. It's not that I just want, like, I have an ex-girlfriend. She accused me of wanting to control people. She made a website. I'm a cult leader, trying to tell people what to eat.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, I know I've seen a little bit of that.
Okay, I'm a cult leader. Okay.
Luke Cummo, the cult leader, everyone.
Yeah, Luke Cummo, cultleader.blogspot. If you want to go read up how I want to control what you eat, and I cheated on her with somebody that she doesn't think is attractive, and I shouldn't have brought it up, but apparently she thinks that drama is gonna bring people to my page, and that's a good thing. So I don't block her.
Yeah, I
got me this interview. How's that?
Yeah, I messaged you and I go, why don't you block this lady? Why are you putting up with this, Luke? You don't need to put up with this. But yeah, at the end, that's your battle.
It's the Conor McGregor thing. Puts asses in the seats.
Hey, it definitely had a long comment thread on it. That's definitely for sure. They had one more question. Somebody says, we'll just throw one more question out there. Just, you have any good Dana White stories, or did you have, what relationship with him, did you have with Dana?
Okay, I got one story. Because, I was young once. As crazy as I am now, I was crazy and young. So, I did things like, for example, after UFC 69, I got up on my soapbox and I said, it doesn't matter who's president. You got to vote with your money that you spend. And then you guys should really vote for Life Food, which is my certification. Like, anybody in Texas knew what the hell I was talking about. As soon as they heard me saying who's president or something, they started booing me. So I made a political speech in the cage. They cut it out of the broadcast. And Dana White says, good fight, stay away from the mic.
Oh, wow.
And he was walking with Hot Donna from that 70s show.
So I can imagine what your thoughts were when you see Colby Covington out there coming and running his mouth like he does about politics and everything else. I'm not a fan, by the way.
Oh, yeah, well, I think that you can trash talk without offending somebody.
Absolutely.
I think you could really do good trash talk, though. I would love to trash talk somebody who I'm going to fight with, because I think I could get some good comebacks that, I don't have to curse. I can really tease you really good, and it would be still be family friendly.
Yeah, I get you, and I don't go after a whole lot of fighters, and I don't want to make a whole lot of this about Colby Covington. I don't have much problem with trash talking. Only reason I went after him is because he went after independent. He went after independent media, and I just think he's a fake person. I don't think he believes the things he says, but that's a whole nother story. But I agree with you there.
Somebody probably said something that hit him too close to home, and part of the game is you got to give and you got to take. If you could find this out, I would be appreciative. There was a guy on the season
with when Matt Serra was the coach. I think that was season 9, but I'm not sure. So the Ultimate Fighter, Matt Serra versus Matt Hughes. The guy's name was Barrera, and he lost his match, and he's in tears because he had many subconcussive blows in his head in the fight. But he said, "Look, fighting, it's not about how much you can give, it's about how much you can take. And if anybody ever gets you riled up over something, they got you." And that's the whole thing about trash talking. As a strategy, you're supposed to take the person, out of their game. That's what trash talking is for. It's not for making the person scared of you, because that's not going to happen. I mean, now that fighting has become a business, it sells tickets. But in terms of strategy in the fight, trash talking does have a purpose, and it's to get the person, thinking about something, and then they messes up their game.
No problem. We're on YouTube. We can say whatever the F we want.
Well,
I don't swear a whole lot, but yeah,
I gotta practice because I'm thinking long term. Imagine like Optimus Prime. That's my avatar, the leader of the good guys.
So I got an answer for you real quick here. It was Dan Barrera, Team Hughes, and it was season 6.
And do we have the quote? It's not about how much you can give.
I don't have the quote.
How much you can take. They gave him the mic as he, I think he had to leave, or he was leaving the compound after he lost. He was getting on the bus. And they interviewed him. And I'm still fighting, man. I'm going to be 40 in April. I obviously can't get subconcussive blows. And the power hold system is a way that I can train with black belts and not need surgery. And like you said, I think it's really great for kids.
I really think that this is really going to get in with the youth. You get in with the cameras. You're talking about these coins coming down. You get into anything that looks like e-games to them. I'm telling you, my son, my kids, they grew up with me watching UFC from Ultimate Fighter 1 and everything. They're not really that into it. But if I want to play some games with them, all their friends are into it. The mixed martial arts crowd, it's getting older. They're all into esports. So, I mean, if you could be, on the threshold of something. You get the right people behind you.
I'm going to get the high score.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I like it. Is this open, these tickets? Are these for sale for this next tournament?
Yeah, MasterLukey.com.
All right, everybody go to MasterLukey.com. Anybody there in the New York area? What stadium is it going to be at? Where is it exactly?
If you go on Google and you type in Master Lukey's League of Champions, I think it's going to come up on the maps. You got to click on the maps tab. But also on my website, if you go to the contact page, it has the address on there. And that's the gym where I'm at in Lynbrook, New York. It's got my cell number on there in case you have a health emergency and you don't want to do drugs or surgery. I'm fully certified, and I will guide you to be healthy again.
All right.
No matter what.
Master Lukey, League of Champions. How much are tickets, last of all?
$20.
$20. You guys can afford $20. Thank you, Dean Hampers. We mentioned that. Somebody just donated $20 a little while ago in the chat.
Let's go.
That'll buy you a ticket.
Cha-ching.
So I hope we see some people.
Any friend of yours is a friend of mine.
All right. Same here, brother. Hey, it was good having you on. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think I said enough. I probably said too much, but anybody wants to talk to me about anything, I try to be available 24/7. I do sleep. I've been sleeping earlier lately, so I'm going to try and get home. But my phone's actually usually on for emergencies, and other than that, just connect with me on any of my social medias. It's all on the contact page there on masterlukey.com. But for people on Facebook, you can friend request me. I have room. I don't have my 5,000 friends limit. I think I got a lot of room, actually. And that's it, man. I would like to connect with you again, maybe as we get closer or after my championship, so we can just celebrate together.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great, man. Can't wait.
I'll probably have to pick your brain about the OBS thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anytime. Just message me or call me. So you'll have my number. If you don't have my number, you'll have my number after this. So, all right. Thanks again, sir.
All right, my man.
Master Lukey, everyone.
Have a great night.
You too. All right. Billy Hughes sent a request over on Facebook. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for that. Man, this has been a week. Thanks again for Luke Cummo coming on this. Man, great memories going back all the way to season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. A good friend of mine, good guy to be around. I know he was really tired. He's been doing classes all day. It's past 10 o'clock at night over there in New York, of course. So very generous with his time. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being here. Sorry we couldn't have the Bellator event tonight. Not a whole lot I could do about that. I don't think I could get through to Scott Coker right now if I tried. And PBR Street Gang says, hey there, MMA Mike, hi all. Thank you, PBR Street Gang, for the donation. And we will get this back up. Actually, earlier, Ted Turner. Let's do some recognition here real quick for our super chats. I didn't want to interrupt our guest any more than I had to, so we could get as much time with him as possible. Thank you, Ted Turner. All right, and then, of course, we had Dean Hamper. Coming through again with the big $20 donation. Thank you very much again. And PBR Street Gang was the last donation. We still will be having a UFC tomorrow. As of now, it looks like it is on UFC Brazil. They're still planning on doing that. I don't think that's going to be canceled now. For those of you that didn't see, I don't know who's seen. I didn't want to keep him up too long, but I would have liked to ask Luke what he thinks about the weight cutting right now. I don't know who's seen, but Kevin Lee missed weight by 3.5 pounds. Kevin Lee weighed in at 158.5. So that's very disappointing. Of course, he'll give 20% of his purse. I think I might have seen 25% for this event to Alex Oliveira, which he should. He should. 12 to 6 p.m. on Big ESPN, the UFC Brazil card. Yes, we'll actually be starting. Prelims tomorrow start at noon. And then the main card, Billy, I think the main card is 3 o'clock. So, very cool. Thank you for all the donations tonight, guys. PBR Street Gang, Ted Turner, Dean Hamper. You guys are awesome. Wanted to have a stream anyways, even though they canceled the Bellator. Cannot wait for UFC Kevin Lee versus Alex Oliveira tomorrow. There's a lot of other good fights on there as well. If you haven't voted in the poll, Kevin Lee and Alex Oliveira, that poll is up on the MMA with Friends YouTube page. Just click that community tab. And thank you for everybody joining in. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Hey, I'm feeling a lot better too. My voice is coming back. So we'll save it for a long stream for tomorrow and a great UFC. Guys, as always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see your fine asses later.